Picture this. You just spent $80 on a brand spanking new game and you're stoked to play it. You boot it up and it looks nice. Photorealistic graphics, hours and hours of epic freaking gameplay, and a game map as big as Arkansas. And somehow, you're already losing interest only 3 hours in. On the other hand, we have games that look like this that oftentimes you have a lot more fun playing. Shouldn't a bigger budget and better graphics make for a better game? Because this game is $80 and this one's $5. What's going on? I recently played this new game that you might have heard of, and that game is Crimson Desert. And if you know anything about this game at all, you probably know that a lot of people don't like it, but also a lot of people do like it. Quite a lot even. This game seems to have the most mixed feelings from players that I've seen in a really long time. Why is this? Does it just suck? No. Well, so it rocks? Well... There's this weird notion online that all it takes for a game to be considered bad is one single aspect. You'll hear people say things like, if the game has a bad story, then I ain't playing it. I need to be fully immersed. If I can't make my persona in game, then it's a no-go for me. If this game doesn't look, better than real life, then I'm not frickin' buying it. Which is funny to say because if any of these concepts were truly deal breakers, we wouldn't have like 90% of all games that people consider to be the best games of all time. But more on that later. I'm about to hit you with a really stupid analogy for a second, but hear me out. When it comes to video games, you need to look at them as a big old pot of soup. For those of you unaware, soup is usually made of a few separate components. We've got the broth. We've got the meat, we've got the veggies. Put them all together, and we got a big old hearty bowl of chowder. If one of the ingredients is weaker than another, it's not necessarily ruining the soup. At most, it's just kind of making the soup a little bit worse. But you know what the true beauty of soup is? It's that even if you are missing an ingredient, a soup can still be scrumdiddly-umptious. Hey, sometimes all you want is the broth. Crimson Desert is the newest game to find itself under "this game sucks" scrutiny. Crimson Desert is an action RPG, open world, Tears of the Kingdom-like game. You play as Cliff. Cliff is a rough and tumble Viking-esque Scottish tough guy, and he has a lot to say.
There's plenty of talk about Greymanes being seen lately.
I see.
And seems he's got company as well.
Aye.
He's strong. He can fight. He can RKO you. And he's the protagonist of this story, if you can call it a story. Because you see, half the internet is on the story is bad, thus the game is bad bandwagon. Quite frankly, the story's not great. It's not horrible by any means, but I'm like a lot of hours into this thing and I don't really understand what's going on at all. I will say, I've used a lot of that time to build up an army of pets to collect all the goddamn ores that I mine, but I digress. The other half of the internet doesn't care that there isn't much of a story in game because honestly, having the ability to dive bomb your way into a bandit camp and beat all the enemies with nothing but suplexes kind of makes up for it. Having played for as long as I have, I'm currently on this side of the argument. A good story certainly helps a video game, but it's not a movie, because if it were a movie, it'd be a Michael Bay movie. Have you seen Six Underground? That's probably the worst movie I've ever seen. And not just because Ryan Reynolds is the protagonist. And that's saying something, because I hate Ryan Reynolds. Oh, really? So then what makes video games so different from books, movies, and other pieces of visual media, smartass? Interaction. Your hands interact with your keyboard, controller, or freaking epic immersive VR setup that in turn leads to you interacting with features of the game world. Just like how my hands on my controller just spammed the hell out of the left joystick. I'm teabagging you. You're getting teabagged, and I'm freaking owning you, nerd. Crimson Desert is a game with an insanely detailed, albeit complicated at first, combat system, a hugely immersive game world that feels genuinely fun to explore, sick-ass weapons and armors to collect, puzzles, dragon riding, and gambling. What more could you ask for? And don't you dare say a better story, because I hate to break it to you, but a lot of games you probably love actually have some pretty bunk-ass stories. Some don't even really have stories at all. Yeah, you heard me right. Crimson Desert is not the first good game to be released with a bad story. You know what? Let's make this more interesting. Let's talk about beloved games. I'm talking game of the year material, large amounts of replayability. Oh my god, dude, this game kicks butt type stuff. You know what I'm talking about. Games that if you were to criticize online, someone might dox your grandmother over. Like Elden Ring, 2022 Game of the Year recipient and one of my favorite games of all time. Elden Ring is gorgeous, massive, and brutal at times. Dog, beating Malenia for the first time was like smoking crack. I've never smoked crack, but I have a feeling that crack would feel a lot like that. As a diehard From Software enjoyer, this game is like holy scripture to me. Unfortunately, the actual story of said scripture is nearly impossible to fully understand unless you read the description of every item you add to your inventory. Oh, what's that? This ball of dung I just picked up explains why Sir Gideon Ofnir has trouble controlling his bladder? It's hemorrhoids. He has hemorrhoids. Luckily, we have our trusty Father Vati to preach us the lore of the game, and that's genuinely the most efficient way to find out the story, through hours and hours of YouTube essays. The story isn't something that you experience, but something that you have to dissect from the game itself. I don't know, man, that doesn't exactly sound like a great form of storytelling to me. But guess what? You still don't see people out here saying things like, man, you know what have made Elden Ring so much better? More cutscenes, more walls and walls of text to read through, because realistically, the story comes second in a game like this. The core gameplay loop is so strong and rewarding that it makes up for everything else. And because the gameplay is so solid, people do go out of their way to look up the lore, because they want to be more immersed in the game itself. You can't say that about a lot of titles. If you didn't already know from the multiple times I've brought it up in other videos, I am a huge Bethesda fanboy, a shill, you might say. I love Fallout, I love the Elder Scrolls, Starfield is Starfield. Naturally, I've sunk a lot of time into Skyrim. It's one of my favorite games ever, but let's be honest, we weren't really playing it for the main story. We were playing it for the side content, the exploration, the stealth archer builds. Do not ask me to do another build, dude. I'm going stealth archer, and you're gonna sit there and like it. The main quest is fine, but would you really consider it to be one of the best video game stories of all time? I know I wouldn't. Skyrim doesn't even come close to Morrowind's story. But hey, that's okay. And these are just the games that even have a story to begin with. We haven't even gotten to the bangers that are practically storyless. Terraria, Minecraft, Kenshi, Dwarf Fortress. Games that let you play how you want. Make up your own storylines and find your own way of having fun. The people love a good sandbox, dude. Well, now I'm pissed off. Story doesn't even matter anymore? I'm gonna make an angry Reddit post about this. You ruined my life. I hate you. Okay, I think you're being a little bit dramatic here, buddy, but let me cheer you up. Story actually does matter. But guess what? So do multiple other aspects of games. Do you know what we call a game that's just story? We call that a book. Just visuals? That's a picture, dude. And before someone goes off and tells me that I'm stupid or wrong, first of all, you're probably correct. And second, although there are obvious outliers for everything, there are some very important components that make a video game truly good. A good game is made up of several moving parts. Core gameplay feel. Does the game actually feel good to play? Not, oh, this game is so realistic. I can watch this guy eat a meal in real time and then watch his horse poop. Not, oh, the gameplay systems are so complex. It's gonna take me like 10 years just to figure out how ammo for each gun works. It's so much simpler than that. Does pressing buttons to do actions in a game make you go, ooh, that's so fun? Movement that feels natural and fluid, combat that is punchy and brutal, natural progression that feels rewarding, that type of stuff. These are the core foundations of a game that, if they feel bad, everything else feels bad. Because they're the things that you're going to be engaging with 90% of the time through your playthrough. Systems that interact with each other, whether it's stealth and AI, combat and physics, or, for example, exploration and rewards. In a game, especially an open world one, we need to have a reason to want to explore it. The world can be vast and beautiful, but if I don't have any incentive to check it out, then what's the point? I might as well just play Candy Crush. I mean, I was gonna play Candy Crush anyways, but at least now I have an excuse. If I'm playing an open world game and I see the peak of a mountain that I can climb, I'm gonna climb that thing. And if I get to the top and lo and behold, we find an entrance to a cave, a chest, a rare weapon, something cool, I'm gonna feel like the time and effort that I put into climbing it was worth it. And in turn, I'm gonna wanna do this more and more going forward. This is what Fallout New Vegas did amazingly and Starfield did poorly, because cool ass rewards from quests rock, but that's kind of the bare minimum. We expect to be rewarded when we're doing exactly what the game is directly telling us to do. Whereas finding a unique weapon in a random ass cave in the desert will have me spelunking every goddamn cave I come across from that point onward. With Starfield's procedurally generated worlds that repeat the same dungeon like 30 times, you're just gonna stop exploring it all because you know exactly what you're gonna find at the end of the dungeon. Nothing. When you have in-game systems that are working together, not against one another, people are incentivized to make use of said systems. Pumping a game full of mechanics that don't even need to be touched in the long run just makes the game feel bloated. Make me work for it, man. Make me want to play your game. Player agency. Do my choices matter? Will this decision have long-term consequences that will lock me out of a quest later on? Because we like that stuff. Oh yes, we do. Lock the secret ending behind a stinky umbilical cord that I have to murk a baby for. Okay, now that I'm saying that out loud, it sounds not great. That's a Bloodborne reference. That's what you do in Bloodborne. Maybe for the first time ever, I don't want to max stealth. Maybe I want to put all my skill points into strength and speech, smashing and debating my way through all life's problems. It's a looks maxer build, bro. You wouldn't get it. I want to feel like I'm getting away with something. Like, oh my God, did I actually just do that? A great game lets you play it how you want to play it. I don't want to know that there's an optimal play style. I want the optimal play style to be however the hell I want it to be. A game feels truly special when it feels like you're in control, making decisions that actually matter, not playing through a fully scripted theme park ride where we all end up in the same spot. This is what Mass Effect does super well. There are so many gameplay decisions throughout that even if you do end up getting the same ending as someone, you can still experience some massive gameplay differences. When I played Mass Effect 3 for the first time, my boy Mordin sacrificed himself for us. That was genuinely one of the most heart-wrenching scenes I've ever played through in a game. And little did I know that if you follow a set path in game, he doesn't have to die. One of my favorite characters in media died because I made the wrong decisions. But the fact that I know that I can save him makes me want to do another playthrough of the whole series in order to make sure that I never have to lose sight of my man ever again. That's good game design. Games should feel fun to play. They should reward you for making use of all the systems at your disposal and should feel cohesive, like a finished, polished product. The worst thing that a game can do is waste your time. We're all busy these days with work schedules, social lives, allotted times in the hydraulic press. So we aren't left with a lot of spare time to spend on hobbies. When we do indulge in these hobbies, we want all of that time to be as good as it possibly can be. Sometimes a game just doesn't click with you. That doesn't inherently mean that the game is bad, because no game is for everyone, except Candy Crush. Candy Crush is perfect. Some of us like competitive shooters, some of us like MMOs, some of us like Cuckold Simulator. I know I do. All I'm trying to say is that not every game needs to have everything, unless you're Fortnite, because they seemingly acquired every single IP at this point. Enjoyment is subjective. I'm having a blast playing Crimson Desert, but I know for a fact that it's not a game for everyone. There's no such thing as a perfect game. Even the best games of all time have flaws. Games don't need to be perfect to be considered great. So the next time you hear some X the Everything app user, or some moronic gaming journalist, or some moron behind a camera lens tell you that a game sucks because of its story, just remember this. At the end of the day, a good game is not defined by just one single thing. They're defined by how all of the pieces come together, just like soup. But what do you think? Is Crimson Desert a good game despite the flaws? What do you think the most important aspect of a good game is? If you disagree with my takes, hey, feel free to pop off in the comments down below. Start an argument and win that argument, buddy. Follow the Instagram, follow the Twitch. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon.